Hi guys, so I recently shared a post or a story about vasectomies and I have a ton of questions. Um, like I'm telling you, hundreds of messages with questions. So I'm going to try to answer some of them over video as much as possible. So the first thing is, why do I get in other people's business? Why is it my business? Why do I talk about this? So I was not any different. Um, at one time, I prevented children. I was on birth control. Um, I did the church thing where I used wisdom to decide how many children we were going to have or to not have children at all. Some of you know my testimony. I didn't actually want children at all, but God convicted and changed my heart. So anyway, I understand why people get vasectomies, and there are or tubules. There are a million reasons why people do that. One, because the doctor told them to. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I'm going to answer my first question. Why do I talk about this? I talk about this because I 100% believe that this is the ministry God's given my family, and it's not talked about anymore. The new thing people say is my body, my choice, stay out of my business. And I don't believe that that's what we're called to do as believers and Christians. We're supposed to talk about these big topics, and I believe that this topic is very important. I believe that we are preventing souls, we are preventing God's will, and we are going against Him. And it is a very important topic. And so, if you want to stay in your own lane with your body, your choice, that's totally up to you. But I do believe that we are called to teach and instruct and to pass on the wisdom God's given us. And so that is my ministry, and I will keep speaking. Okay, so there's many reasons why people get vasectomies. One of the or tubules. One of the biggest ones is the doctors tell them that they're going to die, or they could die if they have more children, or it's too risky. If you know my testimony, that is the story of my journey and why I am all about sharing God and what He can do. I was told after my second baby that I would die if I had any more kids, that my body wasn't made for this. All the same things. I was diagnosed with MS. I had surgery to repair a hole in my heart that later on they didn't even find the hole. Long story short, I feel like I've been through almost everything you can go through with pregnancy, and I've had every reason why I should get a tubal and my husband should get a vasectomy. But God is so much bigger. Do we really understand the God that we serve? He is the God of the impossible, and we are just not giving Him any credit at all. We're going and doing things in our own wisdom and preventing His will from happening. And I just think God has so much more and so much better for us. And so I just like to encourage women and men and families to trust God and to live in the bigger calling and purpose that He has for us. So the other reason people don't or do get vasectomies and tubules is finances. They say that they just can't afford it and they don't want to leave their children without any food. Me and my husband have been on the verge of being homeless. We have lost jobs. We have had no income. We have been through it all, and God is always faithful, and He always provides, and He's never let us down. So we serve a God who is limitless. He has never-ending funds. He has everything we could ever ask for, and we act like we have nothing. We live defeated, broken lives as Christians, dependent upon ourselves, when we have a God that says He will give us everything we need. Maybe not everything we want. I'm not a millionaire, and I don't take my kids to Disneyland or Disney World every year. I don't go out to eat every day. I don't have these luxuries, but I have children. I have the blessings that God calls blessings, and my life is so full, and it is so amazing. But anyway, we don't trust God with our finances, and we know that God can do anything. We know that He is limitless. We know He has everything in His hands, but we don't live like it. So I'm just here to tell you, that God really will provide for you. You just have to trust him with your finances, with everything. This isn't just trust God with your womb, it's trust God with every single thing. Trust God with, it doesn't stop. There's nothing we are not called to trust him with. Everything not done in faith is sin. Another reason people get vasectomies and tubules is because they believe this lie that I can get a tubal or a vasectomy or be on birth control, and if God wants me to have a child, then I will. Well, I counter that with, if God's going to give you a baby anyway, why would you alter your body and have the possibilities of cancer and depression and anxiety and all the things that come with vasectomies and tubules? Why even do that then? If you really believe that God's just going to give you as many kids as he wants you to have, why would you then go against that? That doesn't even make any sense, first of all. But second of all, I do 100% believe we can go against the will of God. We have a choice. We can either operate in his will or operate in our will. We all have that choice. So if I go and shoot somebody, God didn't make me do that, and that wasn't his will. That would be me operating in my own feelings, my own flesh, my own will, and what I think justice should be. So if we decide that we don't want any more children, we think we might die, we can't afford it, we whatever our reason might be, and we had too many C-sections. I have friends that have had 11 plus C-sections and they are still just as healthy. I'm telling you, I don't believe that there is a good reason. If you're so sick or you have cancer and you don't want to have more children, ask God to heal you. I am willing, and I know people call me crazy, but I'm willing to die to have more children. I'm willing to bring more souls. I've already lived 37 years of my life, and to bring a life into this world that God wanted there would be worth my life. Jesus only lived, I can't believe I can't remember this, 30 something years. He died at 30 something. Okay, y'all can correct me or answer that in the comments. But Jesus only lived 30 something years, and his life was more meaningful than anyone else on the history of this planet. And so why would we think that we have to have 80 to 100 years to make a difference or care for our children? Do we not trust God to take care of the children he is bringing into this world? If we believe God is in control and he is the one that gives life and he's the one that opens our womb, if every child that we have is given by him, why in the world would we sit here and be like, well, I can't, I might die? You could die going in the airplane, you could die driving to Walmart, you could die any second. So why are we limiting children because of the possibility of death? I have had 9 kids. I have had the possibility of death many times, even in my miscarriages. And it is a risk I'm willing to take, just like it's a risk you're willing to take to drive to Walmart to get groceries. Everything in life is a risk. If you trust God, then you leave things into his control and into his hands. So all of that to say, I do 100% believe that we should give God our everything, and that we can operate in his will. If we give him our womb and our fertility, he will have the final say in how many children we have, and it will be perfect. It will be his plan. Some people say that I'll get a vasectomy, but God's still going to give me whatever he wants to give me. Now, there are cases where people get a vasectomy or they're on birth control and they still get pregnant. I do not believe that baby that came afterwards is God's will coming out and that God's going against you. I believe that if we trust science, God gives us over to science. If we trust ourselves, God gives us over to ourselves. But we step outside of his will, outside of his umbrella, and we are now in our own protection. And so, yes, science is not perfect. Science does fail. So if you have a child outside of a vasectomy or birth control, that is just science failing you. Although I do believe you would call that child a blessing and you would be so grateful, that's still science failing what you didn't want to happen. I hope that makes sense. And If you don't agree with me, that's totally fine. I'm just sharing all of the things that God has shown me as I've been digging into this deeper. And I'm just challenging people to have a different perspective, to really seek God, to really ask God, not to just go with what the world and the church, unfortunately, tells us is acceptable and right. I wouldn't trade my life for anything ever. I absolutely love all of my children, and I think everybody loves every single children that they have. And my last baby, Anthem, I just can't imagine life without her. Like, what if I would have stopped after 2, like everyone told me? I wouldn't have 7 of my children. That's mind blowing. And once you've had that child, it's just crazy. So then there are other people that say, well, a prophet or God told me I was only going to have 4 children, so I got a tubal or a vasectomy. If God said that, that's all you'll have. So why would we say, God said that's all I'm going to have this many, and then go get a tubal? Does that mean that if you were to have a 5th without getting the tubal, that child was not from God? Of course not. So why are we going under the knife, paying money, altering our bodies, putting ourselves at risk for, like, honestly, guys, you can die from a tubal. You can have complications in a vasectomy. You can get cancer. There is like 90% of men that get vasectomies that go on to have cancer. Guys, this is not something to be taken lightly. It's not a joke. I don't share it to joke about it. I don't share it to condemn. I don't share it to judge. I share it because I am honestly concerned. I want the best for people, and this is not the best. We are lied to about global warming, about destroying the planet, overpopulation. There is an agenda to make us stop populating, to bring us down to 2 children. Imagine if people that really loved God continued to have children. Just imagine the difference that we would make. I just really want you guys to think about these things. Like, children are from God, and God will close our womb. And even if you trust God with your womb, doesn't mean you're going to have 9 kids like me. I mean, if you do, it'll be awesome. But if you don't, God doesn't give everybody 9 kids. I have lots of friends that trust him and they only had 2. I have lots of friends that trust him and they had 6 and then their womb was closed. Some didn't have any. But God knows what he is doing. Ask him what your desires are and then trust him with his. Trust him to make the decisions, because the life he's called you to is way better than anything we can think of or ask of. And like I shared today, my body isn't my body, my choice. My body is his body, his choice. He gets the final say. When I came to Christ, I offered that to him. I said, God, this is now your body and you make the decisions. And I've had 9 children. I've been up and down. I've had health scares. I've had health issues. I've had near-death experiences. I've had babies born early. I've had bad pregnancies. I've had it all. And I just had a checkup 2 months ago because I was having like random bleeding and I thought maybe something was wrong and I was going to go get it checked out. I went to the doctor, and you all know I had a home birth. This is the first time I'm sharing this testimony, but I feel like I need to share it right now. I think this is the first time. I don't know. Anyway, I had a home birth, you all know. And this is my first home birth with my 9th baby, and I always tear. So with this baby, I tore again, and I didn't get stitched up. I didn't do anything to help heal it, and I just assumed I still had a pretty bad tear. It didn't bother me or anything, but when she went to examine me, I thought, oh no, she's gonna see like the tear or whatever is down there and think negatively about home birth. I don't know, I was just a little bit worried, and I wasn't totally sure how my body had healed after giving birth. Well, they did a sonogram, and they said that my body looks absolutely perfect, 100% amazing, better than they've ever seen, even on somebody who's never had children. I almost just burst into tears. Like, God is so good. Then she was going to do in person, or is all in person, just an exam. And so I told her, I said, I'm sorry I tore, just letting you know. I don't know how the tear is, but I did tear, and so that's something you could see. Well, she checked and she said, oh my goodness, this healed better than if we would have stitched you. Guys, I was blown away. I am just so thankful. Like, God will heal us. We just have to trust him. I I fast weekly. I am in his word daily. I have devoted my life, myself, my body, my family, all to him. My ministry. I don't like speaking about these things. They are dear to my heart and I'm passionate about it, but people get really upset. And so it's hard. It isn't easy to have so many people come against you every single day or to have 100 messages to check every day. But you guys, this is not my life. This is God's life. And I'm willing to be imprisoned for it. I will do whatever God asks. So I'm just blown away that, I mean, I knew God could do it, but still, I've had 9 children. And so, like, even if my body is tore up, whatever, it's fine with me. It's all worth it for the sweetness of my children and to see them smile and be happy and live in the calling and purpose God's given them. But all of that to say, my body is amazing and it's perfect. And although I have extra fat that I would like to be off, it will come off. I'm not worried about it. God is good. He'll take care of my body. He always has and he always will. He's provided for us. We are just living testimonies that God is who he says he is. I didn't come from money. I have no family around me. A lot of people say, well, you have family to help you. I don't have any family that lives close to me at all. I have no help, no babysitters. I don't have grandma or grandpa to drop my kids off. This is just me and my husband and God. God has done it all and he continues to do it all. And I hope this encourages you to really seek God on this topic. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my testimony for it. Don't take my life for it. Read the Bible in its entirety. God never, ever okays prevention. He never tells us to prevent. We can say wisdom in having children. No, our wisdom is from God, and he is the God of the impossible, and he does it all. He gives life, he takes life, he opens the womb, and he closes it. End of story. I hope this helps you. Please don't feel condemned by me. I once was taking birth control. I once believed the same way. I know where you're coming from. I understand your perspective, and I'm here to bring you a different one. All right, be blessed. Love you all. Bye.